unmute yourself if that's, if the host has allowed that. And you can also turn on your video if you have a question at the same time. And we'll carry on in that way. Yes. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Shaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatade Shatarane Vanchakol Patarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Vyevacha Patita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. The other thing you can do if you don't want to be anonymous is if you have a name like iPhone or 472-8193, you can rename yourself. You click on participants, put your cursor over your name, and then you'll see a rename button, and you can rename yourself to something more individual and recognizable. Okay. So we're talking about Prahlad Maharaj and Lord Nrsimhadev. Lord Nrsimhadev had, of course, killed Hiranyakashipu, and then all the demigods tried to offer prayers, which the Lord didn't show any sign of accepting. And finally, Prahlad Maharaj offered his prayers, and the Lord was pacified and said that I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased, and it's my pastime to offer benedictions to my pure devotees. That's what I like to do. So then we come to chapter 10 of 7th canto. Prahlad says, Nrsimhadev says that I'm very much inclined to fulfill all the desires of my devotees. But then Nard says that Prahlad Maharaj didn't want to take any material benedictions from the Lord. And then in chapter 10, we find Prahlad Maharaj's response. Sri Paradu Vacha, Namam Pralobhayotpatya Saktam Kameshu Tayarvaraihi Tatsangabhito Nirvinno Umungshos Tvam Upashritaha. The Prahlad says that please don't tempt me. Mam pralobhayotpatya. Please don't tempt me. Utpatya saktam kameshu tayarvaraihi. Because I'm born in a demonic family, I'm already attached to these things. I'm already attached to kameshu, to material enjoyment. Varai, the so-called benedictions of material possessions and material happiness. So please don't offer me these things. tatsangapito. I'm attached to these things already, and I'm afraid of these things. Pita means afraid of associating with these things. I'm attached to them, material things, and I'm afraid of it. Mumukshu tvam upashritaha. I have taken shelter of you, upashritaha, to be freed from these things. Materialists approach the Lord to get more of these things. May I please get a promotion? May I please do well on my exams? May I please get some money? I'm in difficulty. May I please have this? May I please have that? They're very much inclined to approach God or the demigods for their material needs or material wants, especially, yes, of course, they're considered pious. The demonic never approach Krishna. They don't approach God at all. They just try by their own efforts to enjoy. At least those who are sukritini, those who have some background of meritorious activities, may approach the Lord when they're in distress, when they need money, when they're curious, when they're looking for knowledge. The curious and looking for knowledge, they're in the higher section. Those who are looking for money or relief from material distress are in the lower section. But Prahlad Maharaj is above all of them. He's not approaching the Lord to get something. He's not approaching the Lord to get something. So, and rather he says, not only do I not want to get these things, they're my problem. I haven't come to you to increase my fever. I'm already infected by the fever of material existence. I'm not approaching you to make it worse. Increasing material possessions means increasing material attachments. Material enjoyment means preoccupation with the material world and forgetfulness of Krishna. So Prahlad Maharaj says, please don't tempt me with these things. The materialists, if they get some opportunity to achieve more material enjoyment, Prabhupada says they take it. But Prahlad Maharaj was very careful in this regard, Prabhupada says. He was very careful. He knew that these material attachments and material desires are not really a benediction, they're a problem, because they keep us bound to this material world of birth and death. Pritya lakshana jigyasur bhaktam kamesh vachodayat bhavan samsara bijeshu hridaya grantishu prabho. O my worshipable Lord, because the seed of lusty desires, which is the root cause of material existence, is within the core of everyone's heart, you have sent me to this material world to exhibit the symptoms of a pure devotee. Bhavan samsara bijeshu hridaya grantishu prabhu. The samsara bij, the seed or the root cause of material existence. Hridaya granta, hridaya grantishu samsara bijeshu. Hridaya granta means the tight knot, the tight yes, the tight knot of material attachment, material desire for enjoyment, which is Hridaya Granta, the residing in the core of the heart. The core of the heart is where we have our deepest motivations. So for the materialist, the deepest motivation is to be the center of everything, to control and enjoy. So Prahlad Maharaj, Kameshu, the material world means where lusty desires predominate. Lusty desire means especially sex desire, but all desires for material enjoyment. So Prahlad Maharaj, Bhritya Lakshana Jigyasu, Bhaktam. The Lord has sent Prahlad Maharaj from the spiritual world to the material world to show the nature of a pure devotee. The Prahlad Maharaj is a Nitya Siddha devotee, an eternally liberated soul. He didn't become perfect by practice. He's eternally perfect. And he's showing the example. Example speaks louder than precept. One picture is worth 1,000 words. So here's the perfect picture of pure devotional service in the person of Prahlad Maharaj. He's come for that reason. Otherwise, Nanyata te akila guru gateta karunatmanaha yastu ashisha asaste nasabritya survivanik. Akila Guru, you're the supreme guru, O Lord Nrsimhadev, of the entire world. Vande Krishna Jagat Guru. We have our gurus, but the original guru is Krishna. He's the guru even of Lord Brahma, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikaviye. So Akila Guru, he's the guru of everyone. And Gateta Karunatmanaha, the Karunatmanaha, he's made of compassion. He's extremely kind to his devotees. Yate Ashisha Ashaste. But if someone desires some material blessings in exchange for serving you, then Nasabritya, he's not actually a servant. Savayavanik, he's actually a businessman, a merchant, vanik. Vanik means a merchant. Suvarna Vanik is a gold merchant. So the vanik, he's not a devotee, he's a businessman. And Prabhupada talks about that at some length. Sometimes it's found that one comes to a devotee or a temple of the Lord just to get some material benefit. Such a person is described here as a mercantile man. This is commonly seen. People go to the temple or they go to a devotee and they want some ashirvad. They want some blessing. And what blessing do they want? Generally, it's for material prosperity, material happiness, family welfare, so many desires having to do with this material existence, with the present life and their present circumstances and their wife and their husband, their family, their this, their that. And so they approach the Lord for these things. Or sometimes they not only offer prayers, but they render some service. They render some service, but it's motivated service. It's not pure service. By serving you, I hope to get this, I hope to get that. Even we see it's become common that people want some position of service in a temple, but it's not exactly that they're looking for service. They're looking to solve their family financial needs. So, what's my compensation? What is my, what's the package? I'll worship the deity, but how much will you give me to worship the deity? That means that's not love for the deity. That's first priority is meeting my economic needs, and for that I'll worship the deity. So it's very good. I'll do two things at once. I'll solve my economic problems, and I'll do something spiritual. That's called mixed motives. If you stop paying me, I'll stop worshiping the deity. If someone gives me more elsewhere, I'll go worship another deity. That's not pure devotion. That's business. That's business. Mixed motives. So Prahlad Maharaj is not a mixed devotee like that I'll serve as long as the price is right. I just want to serve you, that's all. Nadanam. I don't want money. Najanam. I don't want followers. Nasundarim. I don't want to attract a beautiful girl to be my wife. Kavitam va jagadisha kamai. I don't have these. That's not why I've come. Mama janmani shure bhavatad bhaktir. I just want to serve you. Ohaituki tvai. Ohaituki means without a hetu. Hetu means a cause, a purpose. In Hindi, they say such a person is matlabi. He's got a purpose to fulfill. He's got a purpose to fulfill. And that purpose is his own purpose. It's not Krishna's purpose, it's not the spiritual master's purpose. If we can also serve their purposes, that's very good. But the first thing is, I need to solve my problems. That's why I've come. So that's mixed motives. And Prahlad Maharaj very strongly says, na sabritya. He's not actually a servant. Na sabritya. He's not a servant. So vai is emphatic. He's vanik. He's come to you to do business. That's the statement of Prahlad Maharaj. Any questions so far? Or any comments? You are welcome. Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Danvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, my question is that this comes...
Would you like to be on video or are you happy with audio?
Anyway, either way, it's okay.
There you go. Now your video.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Maharaj, my question is that in Shikshastakam, this is the third verse, na dhanam na janam na sundarim, and we want to reach the 8th verse in human form of life. But we are stuck in Cheto Darpanam Arjanam. So I mean, and although externally we don't act on our material desires, but internally these subtle desires are constantly hovering in our minds. Even though externally we may be doing devotional service, but internally these desires, which are a result of past conditionings, they don't seem to go. So, what should be our approach? Because although we know that, like avidya is caused because we have forgotten our relationship with Krishna, so now we know we have a relationship with Krishna and we are his servant, and but it's not able to, like the desires don't go to seek prestige and respect, like kavitamba jagadisha kame, that doesn't seem to go. So what to do?
Carry on. To be stuck in Chaita Darpana Marjanam, it's not exactly stuck, it's progressive. Chaita Darpana Marjanam is our process always to, just like, yes, it's our process always to purify the mind. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gathered his devotees for the Gundicha Marjana. Cleaning. Because since millions of lifetimes, these desires are not just from this lifetime, but from innumerable, countless lifetimes. There's a background of material desire. The disease is deep-rooted. So Chaito Darpana Marjanam, if we carry on, Harir Nama, Harir Nama, Harir Nama Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nasteva, 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 Katiranyata. This Harinam will be effective. Purna, Shuddha, Nityamukta, Abhinnatvam Nama Namina. There's no difference between Krishna and Krishna's holy name. And therefore one becomes purified. Maybe not all in the morning, maybe not in a year. But if we stick to the process, Srila Rupa Goswami says utsaha, with enthusiasm, and nishchayat, with confidence that yes, I'm following the right method, and dhairyat, determination or patience, doing everything, tat tat karma pravartanat, as ordered by the spiritual master. Sangha tyaga, giving up bad association, shato vrite, living in the mode of goodness. Then we'll come to that platform. Chaito Darpana Marjana. And it's not like the yogis, what is that? Arurukshur Munir Yogam Karma Karnamuchite. Yogis have to do all this discipline and meditation, and then later they get a reward. They reach samadhi and realization after so much tapasya. But by the grace of Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, from the very beginning, the devotees will get some taste of Krishna consciousness. And then we have to go on chanting. That's our method. And not be disappointed that I've been chanting so long. Why is the heart still impure? We have to continue. And regular hearing, what is that? Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janiyati Ashu Vairagam Jnanam Chaya Vaitakam. Gradually we'll come to that stage by regular service, detachment, and knowledge. Otherwise, what is that? Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata seve. Bhagavatu tamashlokir bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. That by regular service to the devotees and regularly hearing from Srimad Bhagavatam, then that point will come. We'll make progress on that path. We just have to carry on Krishna's assurance and not be disappointed that I've been chanting so long and still I haven't reached higher stages. Let us go on chanting. Is that all right?
Thank you, Maharaj.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for benedicting us with your words of wisdom today. I was wondering why Prahlad Maharaj, even though he's a pure devotee, thinks that he has material attachments.
The one thing is just for practical reasons. I'm the son of a demon, so it runs in the family.
Yeah.
Background is the demonic. I've got a body that's like born of a demonic family. Indra even wanted to kill me. He was thinking to arrest my mother so that as soon as I'd be born, he could kill me because I'm the product of Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyakashipu's lust. So he's calculating that way. And a devotee is humble. He doesn't think, yeah, I got it. Maya can't touch me. I'm set. Pure devotee. Pure devotee is not affected by Maya. He doesn't think that way. He thinks that what is that? Duradaiva Nrsimhadev Nadarag. I have no attachment for Krishna consciousness. I'm still so attached to Maya. That's how the pure devotees think. That's how the pure devotees think. There was something else there. Also, he represents in the previous verse that I'm afraid of these things. Even suppose I have no immediate desire. I'm not desiring sense gratification. But if you offer me these things, then what? Just like you have these programs for recovering alcoholics, yeah? 12-step program, this program, that program. And I've been clean for 6 months. I've been clean for a year. I haven't touched alcohol for 2 years. But the beginning is that I'm John and I'm an alcoholic, right? Because I've had that habit. So now I've been clean for a year, 2 years, but at any time, I'm at risk. If my friends invite me, come on, John, let's go check out the pub. Then, or I'm walking by the pub and a friend is there and says, John, then what happens? What will happen then?
Yeah.
So Prahlad Maharaj says, Bhita, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of these things. One time Srila Prabhupada said, the problem with my disciples is that, my Western disciples, he said, is that they're not sufficiently afraid of Maya. Not sufficiently afraid of Maya. So that, there's like healthy fear, to be afraid of fire, to be afraid of poison, to be afraid of so many things that are toxic is healthy and wise. And to be the opposite is reckless. That I'm not afraid of this, I'm not afraid of that, I'm not afraid of nothing, I'm like Superman. Nothing can affect me. So Prahlad Maharaj is, as a humble devotee, he says, I'm afraid of these things. Don't put this on my plate. I could eat it.
Yes.
Is that all right?
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay. Asha sano navai britya swamin yashisha atmanaha. Naswami brityata swamyam ichchan yo ratichashisha. A servant who desires material profits from his master is not a qualified servant or a pure devotee. Ashasana, a person who wants something. Na vai britya, he's not really a servant. He's not really a servant. He has his own interests at heart. And Naswami Brityata Swamyam Ichchan Yorati Chashisha. Or a master who wants profit. He is also not the real master, the one who he wants to maintain his prestigious position. He wants fame, or yes, I have such and such person as my disciple, this rich person, this famous person, this highly qualified person. So I give benedictions to collect disciples or to maintain my sense of being great. That's not the real master. The spiritual master is not meant to act as the personal recipient of service from the disciples. It's not that he should stand to gain something. He doesn't seek out disciples for profit, for gain, whether gross profit to fill up his coffers, or for the subtle sense that, yes, like another notch on my gun. That's not his motive. He has to be actually the servant of Krishna, servant of the spiritual master, servant of the disciple, just as the parents are serving the children. That Prabhupada points out that Yashoda Mai's position is higher than those who want to be praying to God as their father. Nanda Maharaj doesn't want to pray to be the father of God, doesn't pray to God, oh Father. He takes the position of father because the son takes service. So he wants to give service. He doesn't want to take service. Oh Father, give me this, give me that. Let Krishna be the son and let me give service. So that's the position of the pure devotee. He's not looking to gain something for his own profit, for his own sense gratification, for his own inner picture of himself. He just wants to serve. He just wants to serve. That's the position. Serve the spiritual master serves the disciple, or he serves his own spiritual master. The spiritual master wants Krishna consciousness movement spread. So for that purpose, he accepts the role of a preacher, the role of a spiritual master, but not for his own separate interest, for his own personal interest. If he takes some post, some position, it's not because he wants to be this, he wants to be that. He wants to be important. But only let me serve. Therefore, he's not interested in the title, the position. His interest is to serve. So the master who's out to get something from the disciple is not really the master, not a proper master. And the servant who wants to get something from the master is not a pure servant. That's Prahlad Maharaj's submission. And okay, I closed the book on myself.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I have a question.
Yeah.
Maharaj, how do we understand the Bhagavatam verse Akama Sarva Kamo Va Moksha Kama Udharadi Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Yajate Purusham Param? In this context where Prahlad Maharaj is actually saying that there is it is no good to actually have any material desires.
Yes, just the same thing. Arto artarti jigyasu ganicha sukritina. It's not that it's no good, it's something, but it's business. Even to be doing business with Krishna, that's something. The Kamsa wanted to kill Krishna. Even that was good. There was some relationship with Krishna. And then what to speak of course, he was Duskriti, he was a demon. But those who are devotees or those who are pious, they may approach Krishna. Arta, I'm in distress. Artarti, I need money. So good. It's good. We don't say don't approach Krishna. No, that's better. But from the point of view of Prahlad Maharaj,
Yes.
this is not good.
Correct, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Something else? Okay. That's neophyte.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes?
One question. So, our position should be as a servant?
You'd have to speak a little louder, Shalini.
Our
Get
position,
closer to the microphone.
our position should be a servant. Our position should be as a servant.
Yes.
So, in what category? What category do we come under? As a servant, but there are these 5 rasas. What are we still going to be a Sudra in Golok?
A Shudra in Goloka?
Yes, Maharaj.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing, but to taste the higher taste. They say
Servant doesn't mean Shudra. Servant means, servant means our constitutional position. Everyone is servant. Ekali Ishvara Krishna, our Sabritya. There's only one controller, one master. That's Krishna. Our Sabritya. Everyone else is a servant. Everyone else is a servant. In the spiritual world, there's only one controller. And everyone else is a servant. When the Dwarkaranis were meeting with Draupadi at Kurukshetra, they were telling their history, the queens of Krishna. The discussion was there, how did you get married to Krishna and what's the history? So one after another, they were telling their story that Krishna tied up these bulls and he won me. Krishna pierced the fish target and he won me. Krishna kidnapped me from at my marriage ceremony. Krishna, in different ways, accepted me. And now he's treating me like his wife, although I'm actually just a servant in his house. I'm a sweeper in his house. They all took that position. They didn't say anything else, that I'm so qualified, I'm so great. Krishna is so kind that he's accepted me. Everyone is servant. One time, when Nectar of Devotion was being edited, I wasn't the editor, but I was reviewing. Well, I was going over the editing and doing some light work. And there's some chapters at the end, compatible and incompatible rasas. Like ghastly rasa is compatible with neutral rasa, but very incompatible with conjugal rasa. In this way, there's so many that are compatible and incompatible. Compassion is compatible with parental love, but not at all compatible with servitude. The servant is not compassionate on the master, but the parents show compassion to the child. So there's compatible and incompatible tastes or mellows. And Prabhupada had said, this one is compatible with this and this and this, but it's incompatible with this and this and this. Rupa Goswami is given a list. And there were some questions because it's in different places, the lists were, there was some unclarity or perhaps some mistakes about the listing. So I was asking Prabhupada about that. And there was one, I forget which one it was, but it was concerning servitude and whether it was compatible with this or that rasa. And Prabhupada wrote me back and said that servitude is compatible with all the rasas. It's compatible with all the rasas because servitude is the basic principle of all the rasas. The Sakya rasa, friendship, they're all, the basic principle is service. Krishna's friends want to serve Krishna. They do it in wonderful ways. They have a spontaneous desire to help Krishna herd the cows. They want to joke with Krishna. So many different things, but it's all in the mood of service. The whole idea is to make Krishna happy, to please Krishna, to serve Krishna. The parents of Krishna, it's simply to serve Krishna, even if Yashodamaya is threatening Krishna with a stick. It's for his welfare, to serve Krishna. The queens and the gopis, they just want to please Krishna. They just want to serve Krishna. That's the whole principle. So everything's built on service. When service is expressed in this way, it's called friendship. When service is expressed that way, it's called parental love. When service is expressed another way, it's called conjugal rasa. But it's all service. We have this idea that service means, ugh. It's like service is military service, it's like whatever it is, it's like, who wants to be a servant? Like you read, when you're a kid, you read a storybook, you read about a king, and you want to be the king. You don't want to be the servant, the guy who says, yes, your majesty, no, your majesty, as you please, your majesty. No, I want to be the king, right? No one wants to be the servant. But
even in the Shantarasa,
excuse me?
even in the Santarasa,
Yes.
in the neutral way, um, even they can do the service? In what way would they be able to do the service?
Their service is to appreciate. They don't actively render service. Therefore, sometimes it's not even considered proper bhakti or bhakti proper. It's sort of on the edge. Shanta. It's not very much appreciated. It's appreciated, but not the same way. The real bhakti begins with service. Otherwise, the Shanta Bhakta, it's bhakti, but it's just appreciation, passive. So that's also service, but not so developed. Is that okay?
Thank you, Maharaj. Wonderful.
We have such a concept, we really don't like the idea of service. It's really, and in the material world, we really don't want to serve others. Even though we sometimes we make a show of wanting to be like a politician. He wants to be the servant of the people. Like hell, he wants to be elected, he wants to pick pockets, he wants to be a big man. But for that, he says, yes, I want to be the service of the people, the servant of the people. The businessman advertises, we're just here to serve you, our customer. And everybody knows that's not true. He's there to turn a profit. But to turn a profit, he says that, yes, we're just here. How can I serve you? What service can we do? We live for our customers. But they live for themselves. So the customer can go to hell, really, except that we need him to give us his money, to give us his business. Well, that's the material world. The husband says, I want to serve the wife. The wife says, I want to serve the husband. And then when their sense gratification is diminished, then they serve divorce papers. So it's not actually a pure mood of service. Everyone's really like jockeying to be the master. That's the disease of material life. Therefore, in Paradise Lost, in John Milton's poem, there's a place where Satan says, better to reign in hell than to serve in heaven. And that's exactly what we're doing. This is hell, the material world, but we'd rather be the masters here than the servants there. This is the material world. And the spiritual world is, I just want to serve. Because that's what I am. That's my natural position. I'm a serving entity. Krishna is the master, and we're all servants. But to come to that pure position is practically to reverse course, because now we're involved in a project for our own enjoyment. But Krishna says, Sarvadharman pratyaja, give up your project for enjoyment. Mamekam sharanam vraja, just take shelter of me, and I'll free you from this disease of material enjoyment. Is that okay?
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you very much.
Anything else? Okay. Krishna, Krishna. And Prabhupada says that, points out in this purport also, the Lord the material benedictions the demigods give very easily. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Yes, the demigods very easily give material benedictions but Krishna is considerate of the welfare of the devotee. He's just like a parent. The parent doesn't give the child something that they know is going to be harmful. The child may or may not like it, but the parents say, no, you can't have this. No, you can't have that. You have to take this. You have to take that. Because it's not just to flatter the child or make the child, to do whatever the child says, but they're sincerely concerned with the welfare of the child. So the devotee, so Krishna is sincerely concerned with the welfare of the devotee. Therefore, he discriminates. Lord Shiva, Durga, you ask for a blessing, you may get it. You want someone's head to fall off when you touch it, yes, you can have your crazy benediction. But Krishna considers, will this benediction be good for the devotee? Therefore, Krishna sometimes refuses, or sometimes takes everything away. What is that? Yasyaham anugranami hodishe tadtanam shanai. When I really favor someone, I slowly take away all of his money. So that when he's materially ruined, he surrenders to me. And then he gets the nectar of my lotus feet, which is the real wealth in life. Oh, of course, if we advertise that too loudly, then people will run away. But that's actually the position. The material life means a fever. So increasing the fever is not a favor to anyone, but relieving the conditioned soul from the feverish condition is Krishna's kindness. Aham tvakamas tvad bhaktas tvam cha swamyana pashraya nanyate havayor arto rajasevakayor iva. O my Lord, I am your unmotivated servant, and you are my eternal master. There's no need of our being anything other than master and servant. You are naturally my master, and I am naturally your servant. We have no other relationship. And Prabhupada quotes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jiver Swarupoy Krishnera Nitya Das. This is what we are. Sanatana Goswami asked, Kayami, who am I? And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu answered in this way, that you're the eternal servant of Krishna. That's simply what we are. It's not like adopting a position or playing a role. It's actually what we are. We're thinking we're something else. I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm American, I'm Indian, I'm white, I'm black, I'm president, I'm king, I'm director of, I'm the authority. This is really what we are, servants of Krishna. Krishna says that he's Bhoktar Yagyatapasa, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, the supreme enjoyer. That's what he is. That's what he is. He doesn't have to do something to become the master. He is the master constitutionally. It's his nature to be the master of everything and everyone. Therefore, he can say, Sarvadharman pratyajya mamekam shra, surrender to me. So the living being, he's the servant by nature. And if he doesn't serve Krishna, he'll serve something else. He'll serve the demigods, he'll serve his family, he'll serve his community, he'll serve his friends, he'll serve his tongue, he'll serve in so many ways, but he'll be a servant. He can't avoid it. Can't avoid it. Prabhupada gives the story about the jackal in the forest who was pretending to be a king. But when other jackals began howling, then the jackal began howling also, because he was a jackal. So this is our position. We may claim to be something other than servant. We may pretend to be something other than servant, but really what we are is that we're servants. And of course, to be servant is not a bad thing. To be a servant is wonderful. Bhavantamevanuchuran nirantara prashanta nishesha manoratantara kadahame aikantika nitya kinkara praharshi yashyami sanata jivita. Jumunacharya says, Bhavantamevanuchuran nirantara. When will I simply be engaged in constantly serving you? Anucharan, following, serving. Prashanta nishesha manoratantara. And be freed from all these mental speculations. Manoratantara means, when will I get off the chariot of the mind? Manorat means the mind. The chariot of the mind. Manorata. Manoratain asati dhavato. The mind is full of crazy ideas, and we're doing, fulfilling these ideas. Just like people go to college. I'm going to be an ecologist. I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be a this. I'm going to be a that. They've got some mental conception of how they're going to be happy by being a doctor or a lawyer or an entrepreneur or a technologist or a computer programmer or this or that. So many ideas are in their minds, and I'll enjoy this way, that way. I'll enjoy by going to this movie. I'll enjoy with this girl. I'll enjoy this. I'll enjoy that. The mind is busy with that, or it's busy the other way. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if the police find out? What if my girlfriend leaves me? What if I get hit by a car? What if this virus or gets me? What would I do what if I lose my money? What if the stock market goes down? What if this? What if that? Full of worries. Full of worries. So the mind is going on either with notions of enjoyment, notions of enjoyment, or with fears, fear of failure, fear of pain, fear of loss. The mind is always busy with this. Therefore, one is never peaceful. What is that? Mukti siddhi kami sakala ashanta. The Kaviraj Goswami says, those who are looking for sense gratification, bhukti and mukti, those who are seeking liberation, and siddhi, those who are seeking mystic perfections, mystic powers, bhukti, mukti, siddhi, kami. They're all full of desires. And shakala ashanta. Therefore, they're all agitated. None of them are peaceful. Krishna Bhakta Nishkam. But a pure devotee of Krishna is nishkam. He has no material desires. Ateva shanta. Therefore, he's peaceful. Sashantam apnoti nakamakami in the Bhagavad Gita. What is that? Samudramapa pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sushantam apnoti nakamikami. As the rivers flow into the water of the ocean, and yet the ocean is unaffected, it remains the same. The Ganges is pouring so much water into the ocean, but the ocean remains steady. So in the same way, let's see, what is the beginning of that verse? Samudramapa pravishanti yadvat. Let's see. It's the end of the second chapter. Apuryamanam achala pratishtam. The ocean is always full, always steady, even though so many rivers run into it. So the Krishna conscious person is also similarly, he's steady. Tadvat kama yam pravishanti sarve. Even if some desires come, he's not interested. Your mind will always propose something. We could do this, we could do that. Come on, let's do this. Not interested. Pravishanti. The desires may come, but he doesn't pursue them. Sashantam apnoti. He attains peace. Nakamakami. Not the person who's desiring to desire. Very interesting word, kamakami. A kami is a person who's desiring. What is he desiring? Kama. He's desiring desires. The same thing, manoratantra. He's cooking up different ideas of enjoyment. This would be enjoyable, that would be enjoyable, this, that. And therefore, not kamakami, he can't attain, he can never be peaceful. He can never be peaceful. Nothing is actually his to enjoy. He's trying to enjoy in a world which is rigged for suffering, a world where there's either hankering or loss and lamentation. So he won't be peaceful. So Jamunacharya prays, Kadaham aikantika nitya kinkara. When will I be situated exclusively in the mood of being your eternal servant? Kinkara. Kinkara means servant. King Kara. Kim means what, and Kara means do. What can I do for you? Kim Kara. That's a servant. Kadaham aikantika. When will I exclusively be engaged in your pure devotional service? Sarvopadi vinir muktam. Tatparatena nirmalam. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevan. When will I be in pure consciousness? Anyabhilashita shunyam. Jnana karmadyanavritam. Free from the desires for material enjoyment and mental speculation. Anukulyena Krishnana Shilanam Bhaktirutama. So, Kadaham Aikantika Nitya Kinkara Praharshiyashyami Sanata Jivitam. When I come to that stage of pure devotional service, Praharshiyashyami, I'll be not only happy, but exceedingly happy. Praharshiyashyami. Pra means pratishta rupena, intensive. I'll be intensely happy. I'll be exceedingly happy. Sanata Jivita, because I'll have my Lord. Just like a young girl, she's seeking a husband, she's feeling incomplete. She gets a nice husband. Now I'm happy. Or a dog, especially in India, the street dogs, they're always miserable. They're scrounging and kids are throwing rocks at them and the other dogs are fighting with them and biting them. But if a dog gets a good master, then the dog is so happy. Or a child, when the child is an orphan, then he feels always incomplete. But if the child is adopted or if his father and mother are found, then he becomes so happy. I have my father, I have my mother. So the living being, so Jamunacharya says, when I'm situated as your eternal servant, when the mind gives up its incessant business of concocting something for enjoyment, and it's fixed simply in your service, then praharshiyashyami, I'll be so happy. Sanata Jivita. So Prahlad Maharaj says, this is my position. This is the natural position of the Lord and the natural position of the living being to surrender. If this relationship continues, then real happiness exists eternally between master and servant. Unfortunately, when the relationship is disturbed, the living entity wants to become separately happy and thinks that the master is his order supplier. In this way, there cannot be happiness. Nor should the master cater to the desires of the servant. If he does, he's not the real master. The real master commands, you must do this, and the real servant immediately obeys the order. So when we're situated on that, in that position, just to be the servant, then we're in our natural healthy condition. Any question here so far? Any other questions, comments? Okay. Indriyani mana prana atma dharmo dratir matihi shrir shri teja smriti satyam yasya nashyanti janmana. This is the result of material desires, lusty desires, kama, from the beginning of one's birth. That everything's messed up. The senses are messed up, the mind is messed up, one's life airs are messed up. Body is messed up, one's religious principles are messed up. Determination and patience, one's intelligence, shyness, opulence, strength, memory, truthfulness. They're all, they all poison our real nature. Hrid kamam hrid rogam, Prabhupada comments. Materialistic life means one is afflicted by the formidable disease of lusty desires. And liberation means freedom from these desires, which are the cause of birth and death. One does all sorts of stupid things for one's material desires. And therefore, people become, that we see, their minds are a mess. Their senses are misused and therefore also messed up. Their life errors, everything, especially in the modern materialistic civilization, conspicuously bent out of shape. Shyness is considered something pathological, an affliction. Opulence becomes a problem. It's a problem for those who have it, and it's a problem for those who don't. Smriti, memory, oh gosh, the memories that people have are so horrible that they'd rather forget. Or they'd rather not forget. They have these horrible memories that they think are wonderful. They're remembering gambling, intoxication, illicit sex, meat eating, and they think this is nice. Let me go on remembering. Let me not forget how happy it was. Oh, everything is ruined by material desires. Anyabhilashita shunya. Pure devotional service means freed from all desires other than the desire to serve Krishna. The spiritual soul has spiritual activities and spiritual desires, as described by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mama Janmani Janmani Shre Bhavatad Bhaktir Haitukri Twai. Unalloyed devotion to the service of the Lord is the only spiritual desire. But to fulfill this desire, one must be freed from material desires. So this is the project. We are afflicted by desires, material desires, since time immemorial, which block our natural desire. Block our natural desire. In the 1960s, early 70s, there was a British singer named Donovan who had some popularity, and he somehow or other he came to see Prabhupada. I guess the devotees recruited him. Shyam Sundar was very good at recruiting people to come meet Prabhupada, famous people. He came to meet Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was speaking to him, something Krishna consciousness. But he came with his girlfriend, and the girlfriend was antsy. I don't remember the specifics, but it was like, whether by body language or by words, it was, come on, let's go, come on, let's go. Whether she didn't like what she was hearing or just didn't want to someone else to be the center of Donovan's attention. Anyway, it's, come on, let's go. And because the famous man was the servant of his senses, he went. He had the opportunity. He could have heard the message of his that could have restored him to his eternal position, and he missed it. Of course, something, he did get to hear from Prabhupada. Some benefit must have been there, but he didn't. It didn't click with him, because, what is that? Griha Vrata. Me pratasvatova mito vipadyeta griha vratana. Danta gobir vishatam tamishram puna punascharvata charvanana. Those who have made a project, who are dedicated to the project of sense gratification, just can't understand Krishna. Their attraction for Krishna just can't get going. Whether they hear from others or they try to figure it out for themselves or they attend some conference, because their senses are uncontrolled and their uncontrolled senses rule them. What do? They just keep chewing on something they've already chewed on before, trying to get some juice from something from which the juice has already been extracted. Puna punascharvata charvanana. So that's the disease. But if one is fortunate, kon bhagyavan jeev, then Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij, one can get the seed of devotional service. And if one waters the seed and goes on watering it, hearing and chanting, gradually it grows to the spiritual world, takes shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, and gives fruits and flowers. One's life becomes perfect. There's a question here, Saradiya Rasa. When we have the service of organizing or management, it is challenging to always have the humble mood of being the servant. How can we overcome our tendency to forget our position as servants and only execute our responsibilities without feeling that we're in control? Yes, it's a challenge. Even Brahma's asking that. I have to manage the universe. I have to create everything. How am I not going to get entangled? How am I not going to get entangled? So that challenge is there. How to remain humble. So one has to always remember Krishna. That I may manage, but I'm not managing for my own motive or on my own behalf. I'm accountable to the personality of Godhead. I'm the servant of the personality of Godhead. And it's only by his authority that I'm able to do something. And it's only for his service that I'm meant to do it. One has to keep that understanding. Anyway, it's not just management. Anyone who's doing anything can be overcome by false ego. I'm singing so nicely. I'm painting so nicely. I'm writing so nicely. I'm giving so much money. I'm speaking so nicely. I'm doing this. And he forgets that he's a servant and that only by the grace of Krishna is he able to do something, and that what he does should only be for the satisfaction of Krishna. That's the disease. Therefore, Cheto Darpana Marjana, Kirtaniya Sadahari. One has to cleanse the mind by constant Hare Nam Anukirtana, constant chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Is that all right? Even Indra forgets. Even Brahma sometimes forgets. Brahma steals the cowherd boys, thinking it's my universe. Indra's my Indra Yagya. Oh, we need to chant follow the regulative principles, hear Srimad Bhagavatam regularly. And humility also doesn't just mean that that we're like mousy, that we're little timid things. I don't know if I could ask you to do this, but sometimes humility means you take charge. You take charge. Prabhupada was humble, but he took charge. And he would blast the disciples. You fool, you rascal. But it wasn't for sense gratification. It was his duty. Just as Yashoda Mai is chasing Krishna with a stick. It's not out of false pride, it's for Krishna's service. So we need to always remind ourselves, in the conditioned state, in the pure state, one always knows that I'm Krishna's servant. In the conditioned state, we have to remind ourselves always that I'm just the servant. What is that? Trinadapi shuni chena turadapi sishna. To be humble, to be tolerant, and to take out to carry out our prescribed duties with the understanding that I'm doing this duty on behalf of Krishna. That will be appreciated. Is that okay? Okay. Anything else so far? Vimunchati yada kaman manavo manasi sthitan taryeva pundari kaksha bhagavat tvaya kolpate. When a human being is able to give up all the material desires in his mind, he becomes eligible to possess wealth and opulence like yours. When Arjuna asked Krishna, what's the sign of a self-realized soul? How does he speak? How does he walk? How does he sit? Then Krishna answered, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanyeva atmana tushtas tita pragyas tadochite. Krishna said, the sign of a self-realized person is that he gives up all material desires, which are manogatan, mental concoctions. Mental concoctions. I mean, really, I want to be a famous model and get good money and have my picture on the cover of Vogue magazine. What will that do for me finally? Will I really be happy because my picture is on the cover of Vogue? Will I really be happy because I got this much money? Will I really be happy because people see my photo and say, there she is. That's her. Is that really going to bring happiness? But I imagine that these things will make me happy. I imagine that when I'm elected to this post, or when I pull off this big business deal, or when I marry this person or that person, that will really, then I'll be set. But it doesn't work like that. And therefore everyone's frustrated. Everyone's frustrated. Because the result of desire is more desire. Prabhupada compared this project of trying to satisfy desires with trying to extinguish a fire by smothering it with petrol. You have a fire, so you can smother it just by pouring petrol, which may work for a few moments, You know, the fire will be deprived of air because you've doused it with petrol. But after all, it's petrol. Now the fire will blaze up still further. That's what people are doing. They're trying to put out their fire of lust by lusty activities. And the result is that the fire grows. And now it's now it's bigger. There's an old film, this goes back to like probably the 1950s. It's what is it called? The Little Shop of Horrors. I guess there was a remake of it some years ago, which I don't think I saw. But it has to do with this carnivorous plant, and it starts off, feed me, feed me, feed me. You know, so the gardener or whoever he is, you know, he feeds it, and it's happy. But gradually, it's feed me, feed me. Yeah, it has to go murdering people all over the place to feed the plant. So the material desires are like that. Feed me, feed me. And the more you feed them, feed me, feed me. The desires just become stronger. They don't trip yanti neha kripana bahudukha bhajan. They're never satisfied. Trip yanti neha. Trip yanti kripana bahudukha bhajan. And rather, they cause so many sufferings. To try to satisfy my desires, I put my life at risk. I put my reputation at risk. I put my this at risk, my that at risk. Or I just work like a dog to satisfy my desires. And what are those desires? They're mental concoctions. The big men are not impressed that you became the chief accountant in some two-bit law firm. So what? For you, it's a big deal. For them, it's like, so what? So here, he becomes president of the United States, he becomes king of England, and it's like he's attained the highest perfection. And the demigods are looking at him like he's a little jerk, you know, a cartoon. So what is that? Then, and for one who's got the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they look upon Indra that way. What is that? Rup Sanatan, do you know that verse? Vishvam Purnam Sukhayate. Maybe you can look it up for me. The Mahendra Ki Tayate, like that. Mahendradi's Ki Tayate. For one who's gotten the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the mental concoction, I'm Indra, I'm enjoying heaven, is like, you're an insect. You're an insect. Your happiness is, just like the sex life. Indra is known to be lusty. He's got his apsaras and all of that. So what is your sex life? It's the sex life of a mosquito. It's the sex life of a mosquito. Nobody really cares about the sex life of a mosquito except the mosquito. The mosquito is thinking, oh, there's nothing better than this. But it's nothing. So Manogatan, the sign of the self-realized person is prajahati. He wants nothing to do with these material desires, which are mental concoctions. What is his position? Atmanyeva Atmana Tushta. He's satisfied when his mind is absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Stita Pragyastharochita. He is the self-realized person. Elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita, what is that? Sarvan Asheshataha. Sankalpa Prabhavan Kamans Chakva Sarvan Asheshataha. Same thing. That the sign of a self-realized person is that these material desires, which are sankalpa prabhavan. Sankalpa prabhavan means same thing, born out of the mind, mental concoctions. Sankalpa prabhavan kaman chatvan sarvan asheshata manasaya vendriya grama viniyamya samantata. About the perfect yogi. He understands that these desires are just products of the mind. Therefore, the mind has to be purified so that the mind will desire properly. The mind will be healthy in its desires. Let me serve Krishna. Let me serve Krishna this way. Let me serve Krishna that way. That desire comes from the soul, not from the contaminated, subtle body influenced by the gross body and its senses. Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman Sarvan Parthan Sheshata. So when a human being is able to do this, Buddhists and impersonalists are trying to do it. They know desire is the cause of suffering. So they just try to give up all desires, but they fail. They fail. It's not doable. But the Krishna conscious person cultivates this desire to serve Krishna in so many different ways. It's not just sitting around, aham brahmasmi, aham brahmasmi. There's so many different kinds of service to render. To hear about Krishna, to chant about Krishna, to remember Krishna, to serve Krishna. And by hearing and chanting, the devotees get a taste. By hearing and chanting, the topics are powerful in the association of devotees, and Shraddharatir Bhaktir Anukramishati. The taste for Krishna consciousness gradually reawakens. Then life is successful. And then the desires, material desires, are supplanted, displaced by spiritual desires. Vrindavani asks a question. Could I kindly ask a question regarding the topic of being an instrument for Krishna? We have so many ideas, desires, yet if we are praying to Krishna to be an instrument, how do we know whether those desires are ours or they're coming from Krishna? Could you kindly shed some light on my ignorance, please? Yeah, the desires, we know that they're from Krishna and not from our own minds when they're confirmed by the spiritual master, by the Shastras, by the sadhus. There's a place in the Bhagavad Gita where Srila Prabhupada had written that whatever the devotee does is perfect because his actions are guided by Krishna from within. And on the page proofs, Srila Prabhupada wrote in, and confirmed by the spiritual master. This is our safety. It's not enough that from within, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that, because what is that? Indriyani manobudhira syadhisthanamuchyate. Tayar etar vimohayat yesha. Etar vimohayat yesha. Something. Tehina. Let's see. Indriyani manobudhir syadhisthanamuchyate. Tayar vimohayat yesha. Oh, maybe that's fourth chapter. Where is that? Indriyani manobudhir syadhisthanamuchyate. Tayar vimohayat yesha. Someone can look for it and find it for me. Anyway, the meaning is that the mind, the senses, the intelligence, they've all become sitting places of lust. They're all contaminated by material desires. So if we just take shelter of our minds or even the intelligence, we can go off course because they're compromised. You know, like when a military project is compromised by enemy agents, then you can't trust the communications anymore. You can't trust anything anymore because it's not yours. It's infected or polluted. Yeah, even so many things. You can't trust anything in Kali Yuga in the world now because anything could be infected with the coronavirus. You have to wash your hands for 20 seconds and all of that. So the mind, intelligence, they're all contaminated by material desires. Therefore, we have to be guided by the spiritual master, by Shastra, by the sadhus. That's our program. Indriyani mano buddhira syadhisthana muchyate etarvyu gyanam avritya dehinam. Thank you. The senses, the mind, intelligence are compromised by lust, which has taken up residence in these places, and by them, lust, vimohayati, bewilders us, and gyanam avritya, covers our knowledge. Gyanam avritam gyanam etena gyanino nityavairina. So 340. Yeah. Thank you, Madhupati. Vamshidhari asks, how do we go deeper and strengthen in developing our relationship with Krishna? Otherwise, we might take shelter of material relationship. We strengthen the relationship by acting in the relationship. First thing is to reawaken the relationship, and then the next thing is to act in the relationship. Just like you have a relationship, you get married and then you have a piece of paper that says you're husband and wife and there's some rings or something. But if you don't act in that relationship, it'll go cold. The divorce papers will be filed or it just becomes meaningless. Once the relationship is established, then one has to act. So we're initiated by the spiritual master, but then we have to act in that relationship. If we don't act, then we forget. It disappears. If I'm the servant, that's the problem of the Mayavadis, aham brahmasmi, aham brahmasmi. I'm Brahman, I'm spirit. But what are you going to do as spirit? Well, I'm not going to do anything, because spirit doesn't do anything. It merges with the Supreme Spirit, which is what it really is. So there's no activities. So they're prone to fall down. But Krishna consciousness means that we're initiated into the religion of eternal service to Krishna. So then I have to act in that relationship. But what is acting in that relationship? To carry out the orders of the bona fide spiritual master, to chant Hare Krishna, to follow four regulative principles, to hear in the association of devotees, to worship the deity, to do so many, to preach. There's so many activities. So when we act as Krishna's servants, then we strengthen the relationship. Then the relationship is strengthened. Just like you're married, so you're cooking for your husband, you're cleaning, you're decorating, you're doing some service. So then the relationship, and the husband, he's providing, and he's doing this and that to please the wife. So then the relationship is becoming developed. It's by activity. It's for the meditators, it's inaction. But for the devotees, it's action. Let me act rishikena rishikesha sevanam. Let me use my purified senses to satisfy the master of the senses, under the guidance of the spiritual master. Do we experience that devotional service gives the highest form of happiness? So at times I find myself doing seva because of this, instead of only meditating on how our sadhana and seva ahokis should be done to please Krishna. I guess that means activities. How can we overcome this? Well, it's natural that, what is that? Susukam kartum avyayam. Devotional activities are happy. Krishna says, susukam kartum avyayam. This devotional service is happily performed. So if we're doing this seva, of course, it's not just because of this. And it's not that we have to meditate, this is my sadhana, I have to do this. You're allowed to feel happy. Prabhupada said, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. So that's all right. And that's natural. That Yamuna Praharshi Ashyami Sanata Jivitam. When I'm free from material desires and I'm situated as the servant of my eternal master, I'll be so happy. So there's nothing wrong with wanting to be happy in serving Krishna. But the point is not the happiness. The point is Krishna's happiness. In the beginning, we're concerned with our happiness. But as we advance, we understand that what makes me happy is what will make Krishna happy. Just like and that's natural. I remember I was on a little car journey, a few hours or something, with a couple of devotees in India, and a mother of one of the brahmacharis was with us, and she'd made different kinds of some nice prasadam for the trip. So at some point we stopped and we took prasadam, and I could see the mother was so happy that the brahmacharis were all taking prasadam and they're enjoying. That was her happiness. That was her happiness, just naturally. She didn't cook to make herself happy. She cooked to make the brahmacharis happy. So when the brahmacharis were happy, then she was happy. Her son was happy. The other boys were happy. So she was happy. So that's the real secret of happiness, to make Krishna happy. And when Krishna's happy, we'll be happy. Of course, because we're still in the conditioned state, sometimes we're thinking, I'll serve Krishna happy. But we're trained that even when it doesn't make you happy, serve Krishna. That example Prabhupada gives, that a woman doesn't hesitate to cook even in the hot months. Why? To please the husband, please the family. So this is our development in Krishna consciousness. We start off, what will make me happy? But as we advance, what will make Krishna happy? Even if if I have to go through difficulty. Even if I have to go through difficulty. That's called sacrifice. The patriots sacrifice for the businessmen sacrifice for the business. And the devotee sacrifices for Krishna. And what's the result? Krishna becomes happy and the devotee also becomes happy. It's not that by holding back we become more happy. Trying to avoid trouble, difficulty. What is that? Bhaktivinoda Thakur someplace prays that I'll see trouble in your devotional service to be the greatest happiness. And sometimes we see that we go through trouble for Krishna's service, and later we look back at it and we think, those were the most wonderful days. When there's some big Sankirtan marathon and devotees are out in the snow and trying to distribute huge numbers of books or whatever the sacrifice is. When you're doing it, it may seem very difficult, but later you look back and say, I never had such a great time in all my life. It was so wonderful. So that's why? Because Krishna is pleased, the spiritual master is pleased, the devotees are pleased, but we also become pleased. How do we know what will make Krishna happy? Same answer that we know from Shastra, we know from the Guru, we know from the sadhus. It's not, we don't have to imagine. We know the program is actually simple. This will make me happy, that will make me happy. It's not like you have to do deep research what it is that Krishna wants or the spiritual master wants. These things are all there. You just have to do them. Then when it comes to the details, all right, well, should I do this or that, which will make Krishna? Then we consult the spiritual master, consult the sadhus. We saw that I'm speaking on first canto these days, and Parikshit Maharaj consults the sages. He's already decided to fast till death, but he seeks their blessings, their approval. So that's the mood of the devotee. He has his idea of how to serve Krishna, but he seeks confirmation. Prabhupada said any important decision should be confirmed by self-realized devotees or something like that. So we should seek the guidance of sadhu, shastra, the spiritual master. Sometimes I find myself performing seva with the aim to please the devotees, but happiness is there. It is tough. My solution so far has been trying different services to keep my mind busy. Some of them make me feel more connected with myself, and my practice is that a sign of connected with myself in my practice. Is that a sign that something is wrong with our motivation? No, not necessarily. Of course, yes, not necessarily. If our motive is to satisfy Krishna, of course, sometimes we aim to please, but the happiness is not there. It's tough. All right, let me carry on. Therefore, Rupa Goswami says, dharyat. We don't necessarily become successful on day 1 or day 20, but trying different services to keep my mind busy, good. Try this or try that. And there's also take guidance and stick with one service. You may try this, you may try that. Or the spiritual master may say, well, try this, try that. And part of it is just, all right, I'm not getting an instant result or an immediate result or a result within 20 days, but let me stick with it. It's service. It's service. It may not be my favorite service. It may not be my lifetime service. But if I got some service, let me be happy. I got to serve. To serve. And not allow the mind to say, are you happy or you're not happy? How happy are you on a scale of 1 to 10? Are you like at least a 5? That's not the yardstick, how happy I am. If I've been given some duty by the spiritual master's representative, let me do it, that's all. Because the goal is not that I have to be happy. It will come. If I carry out that service, Krishna will be pleased and my happiness will be there. Part of sometimes happiness is just giving up restlessness. What is that? This is austerity. What is austerity of the mind? In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Mana prasada samyata. The austerity of the mind begins with satisfaction. Whatever it is, let me be satisfied. Maybe I didn't get the service I was hoping to do. Maybe I didn't get to make the Janmashtami outfit. Or maybe I didn't get to do the 7 o'clock offering. Or maybe I didn't get to do this or that. But I got to do something. Let me be satisfied. That's called austerity. And what happens from austerity? Brahmasokyam tvanantam. You get unlimited happiness. After some time. Okay, there's one last question. The right way to pray. What's the difference between prescribed prayers, as in the Vedic literature, or we pray using our own heartfelt words, which is more effective and acceptable by Krishna? Both are recommended in Nectar of Devotion. There's reciting prayers from great devotees or the Vedic literature, and then there's your own prayer. Both of them are accepted. The main thing is your heart's feeling. Let me serve you. Let me serve you. With no material desires. And then gradually you'll become eligible to possess wealth and opulence like Krishna's, which means not that you become Krishna, but you become Krishna's intimate associate. That will be the perfect stage. Now we're in the probational stage, practice stage. It will be perfection. Even practice is a perfection itself, but it will come to the mature stage. We just have to carry on. We are now at 1 o'clock, which is stopping time. Any announcements from our host that you want to make?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much for the enlivening talk and discussion. Lots of nice questions and nice answers. Very grateful to you for taking the time out to speak to us today. Other announcements, we've got another seminar tomorrow with ISKCON London's head Pujari Murali Manohar Prabhu. on how to improve your chanting. That's part 2 of his seminar. So that will be at 2 p.m. So people are welcome to join in using this Zoom meeting ID. Apart from that, that was it from me. I'd just like to again say thank you very much, Maharaj.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all.
Thank you.
Will you more on classes somewhere? The online classes I do are quite at a poor time for you. I give class every night at, not 3 nights a week, at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which is like 1 or 2 in the morning, British time. They are on Facebook. I could tell you where, in fact. Give me a moment and I'll give you the reference. They're afterwards posted on YouTube/user/M for Madhava NB. I've posted the link.
Oh yeah, that's brilliant.
Then there are occasional classes like this one that are for South Africa or for someplace out in your area. If you'd like to be informed, I guess you could get in touch with one of my disciples in the neighborhood, Nimai and Pradumna, or other. And you can start with Nimai and Pradumna, and they can point you to someone else who may also know. I guess they could start a list, or yeah, if you let them know, then when I let them know. Next Istanbul class, they're asking me to give a class on Tuesday for Istanbul at 5 p.m. Istanbul time, which is anyway, which is 4 o'clock, I think, your time. So if that comes through, then Nimai and Pradumna will know, and you can catch it from them.
Okay, thank you, Maharaj, and hopefully we'll be able to organize something again in the coming month or something. I'll keep in touch with you.
My pleasure.
Okay, thank you very much, Maharaj. I'll end the meeting now. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Hare Krishna Vishwani.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Did you end the meeting?
I don't know.